Okay, so hello, uranium friends. Been a while for a video, so I figured I'd come out here with this LEU video because I am out of my position that I've had recently, and I'm looking to get back in. So, I started looking for signals and things because LEU is a interesting character to say the least, especially with its floating away trade. So anyway, how do we figure out where we can find entries and exits perhaps that using TA and TA alone, how does that get us to a spot where we can get favorable entries and, maybe stack the odds in our favor a little bit? So, I'm prompted by this because I'm now looking for entry here. And basically, I will tell you this. I got in here, I got out somewhere around here. Um, I got back in somewhere around here, and I got back out somewhere around here, and now I'm empty. Okay, so LEU I use more as a trader than anything. I usually play it small. Um, so now I'm looking at this chart again, and I'm seeing some stuff here that kind of prompts me to start looking for entries again. So here's the deal. I started to do some back testing. Now you'll see these purple arrows, and what these purple arrows and this one red one represents are entry signals, really, for the long side. That's what they are. So this is all back testing for me because I saw something. I don't know what it prompted me to see it. It was really about this 12 EMA. So when I started looking at this chart on a daily, I said to myself, okay, we have a 12 EMA rider. That's basically what this stock does, and it's been doing it for a very long time. Now, this is the daily chart. Okay, so what you'll see now is the 12 EMA, it's the red line. It's this red moving average, okay? So what happens is that you see once it gets it back, it uses it and it rides it. And then once it loses it, it uses it and then it rides it and so on and so forth. But that's what happens with this stock. So the first thing I'm saying to myself is, okay, well, it's lost the 12 EMA right now. So am I jumping on an entry here? Well, probably not. But then I'm saying to myself, well, I've got some support levels here to work off of. What else can I do to give me some sort of signal to give me the all clear to make an entry? So I started looking at this when it's riding the 12 EMA, and I go backwards, right, from the most recent action. So here's the 12 EMA holding it down as resistance, as resistance, as resistance. So there's a couple of commonalities that I've started to see. So we'll look at this first one here. So first of all, even off of this downtrend, it starts to build a little bit of a base of support. Okay, is that doing it here? Well, maybe, right? So we have this base here, and it's starting to work off of that level. So the next thing I looked at, okay, what happens when we get a daily trend change? Well, this is all one run. You get your higher low. There's your trend change as it regains the 12 EMA, okay, and then it makes its run. So this is what this purple arrow is representing, okay? The arrows are representing one thing and one thing only. The signal is that it gets a daily trend change and regains the 12 EMA at the same time. So here's the signal here, the most recent run. And we come over here, we take a little bit of a measurement. So we take it from where it regained the 12 EMA to its top, and you have a 53% run, right? Um, does that mean I'm going to be all the way holding all the way through? No, because I'm a trimmer. I definitely am a profit taker. So here you have a little bit of a fake out on this rider, but you're going to see that it does it all the time, right? Fake outs all the time. So how do we avoid the fake outs? We'll talk about that later. So, but the real truth is that this buy signal right here, it gives you a level nearby to work off of, right? So you had a nice little base at this low, 31.85, okay? 32, right? So you have a signal here. You have a level to work over 32. You could I could have potentially entered around 33, 33.50, whatever, and I would have made my 53% run there. What happened here? Okay, so it lost its EMA and it started to regain it. Here's your first bounce. There's your pivot right there. Regains the 12 EMA, and what's the result? 22% run. Okay, so then I'm still back testing, right? Because I want to see how this plays out. So same deal. Okay, regains a 12 EMA, confirms a daily trend change. So you have your low, you have your high, you have your higher low. It breaks this whole resistance here, confirms the daily trend change. That's where our purple arrow is. And what is our signal? How much of a run do we get? 110%. Okay. Same thing here. Okay. Lost its EMA, starts to build a base, tries to regain it. Once it regains it with the daily trend change, where the purple arrow again indicates as it regains the 12 EMA on a daily trend change, it makes a 45% run. Now, in this particular instance, it's never losing this original stop out that you're working off of. So literally, this run off of this 12 EMA break, well, maybe not, because if you were playing it tight, you're using this, and you could have been scalped out right here. But let's say you didn't. Say you didn't. You left your stop loose, or you cut half, and then you decided to use this as your stop area. Well, then you're talking about a much different scenario, right? So that's 125%. Here, this was the only false signal, right? So you lost your 12 EMA. Let me just zoom in a little bit to get a better look at this, okay? So you lost your 12 EMA. Come on, guys. You lost your 12 EMA. You got it back with a daily trend change, and you still got a little bit of a 10% run out of it, but that's nothing. You got, and but what would have happened here with this? This was a fake out signal, but again, you're probably using one of these levels here, so your stop out isn't too horrible. Okay, next signal. Same deal, right? So this is what's going on here. I'm going to go back to my first purple arrow here for this level here. Okay, so now we're back in 2020. Okay, so it regains its 12 EMA here. Okay, confirms the daily trend change with the regaining of the 12 EMA, proceeds to get 166%, right? So now here's where if you had your level and you never stopped out, I mean, you could still be going, depending on how people hold their positions. But, to me, like with LEU, I'm going to be out once I start to see daily consolidation, right? Because then this was all dead money. This is just chop zone forever. Okay, so it went through this whole chop zone scenario, and it's back to regaining an uptrend with a daily 12 EMA regain, all in the same breath, 30% move. Same deal here, right? Regains the daily uptrend. I got to redo this, sorry. Regains the daily uptrend, gets the daily trend change, and regains a 12 EMA in the same signal. 275% move. So to me, the signal is if I get a daily trend change and it regains the 12 EMA, I know I've got a pretty solid setup to work off of. Now, of course, I want to go back here and see, well, why was this a fake out? So when you want to say, hey, why did this not work here? Of all these other times it's worked, well, move out to the weekly and let's take a look. Where is my little arrow? Okay. What happened here on the weekly? I just lost that, but what happened here on the weekly? Okay, we talk again about 12 EMA riders. So again, just as much as it's a daily 12 EMA rider, it's a weekly 12 EMA rider. So you could see it just rides the red line. And then when it loses it, it loses it. Here's the deal. This is why this one was a fake out, because it never regained the 12 EMA and proceeded on. So, those you can use as confirmation signals after you've taken an entry here off the daily signal. So that's what I'm looking for right now. I am looking for the daily signal to give me a daily trend change back to the bulls and regain the 12 EMA. And I know that's probably going to be a pretty solid trade setup. So, now I'm starting to scout this whole thing, right? So then I'm saying, all right, well, that once these EMAs start to get stretched out like this, and this happens in a lot of stocks and a lot of sectors, they like to get back together again and start to, what I say, I kind of say, get back to the stack. So you want them to get back to the stack. And when it gets back to the stack in a downtrend, it could start, using this as resistance for a while. So once it gets back through the stack, it wants to use it as support. So again, signals where you say, all right, I'm wrong here on this, it's not ready to go. Okay, but even though this move here, eventually still broke down further into this earnings. If you go back to some of my older LEU videos, I got caught in this whole swoon. I traded my way out of it to close to break even or maybe slightly in profit. Nothing special, but it was a good way to preserve capital. Um, it's used this stack as support, but it lost it again. So um, really, the deal is that the good signal for me is the daily trend change with a simultaneous regaining of the 12 EMA. All right. Now I know what my fake outs can be. I need to start looking at the weekly 12 EMA, right? So on this fake out, it never got over the weekly 12 EMA. And that was kind of an issue for it, right? So here it's just it's still above it. So even more so where I want to really, um, on a weekly, these EMAs, everything is stacked above the 200-day moving average. So I am definitely, definitely scouting an entry here. And I am definitely going to be looking to add. And now that I know I have a pretty solid signal that's been back tested for a couple of years now, I think I've got the spot where I'm going to be wanting to do it. Okay, so here's the other thing. So how do I get it? What about my exit? All right, well, so you can start to see now, and I'm not an RSI divergence trader in any way, shape, or form, but you can start to see this thing gets hot, and unlike other names, this one doesn't really give you the wickiness when you start to see the buyer exhaustion. There's not a lot of wicks on this name. So, those are signals. Like if you look at NXE on a daily, it starts to get wicky, right? You can just once you start to see these wicks on NXE, and we're going to talk about NXE not in this video. We will be covering NXE in Uranium Talk that's coming out this weekend as well, because we're going to have a trading around the core series that we're starting this week, and it's probably going to go a couple of weeks. But NXE is going to be the first name for trading around the core. So, but you start to see, this is the behavior. This is why it's good to follow a sector and the names in the sector. When NXE gets wicky, when it starts getting upper wicks, it's time to start making some exits. LEU doesn't give you that. Of course, yeah, it has it once in a while, but it really doesn't give you that. You start to look at the life of this thing and at its highs. I mean, you did start to see some wickiness up here, but everybody, $88. This thing had one heck of a run. So, you're definitely trimming out of that. So that's the deal. For me, LEU, the go-to signal is regaining a daily uptrend and regaining simultaneously the 12 EMA. That's going to be a signal that I'm looking for. I know where the fake out is, and I know why I got the fake out, because it never regained the 12 EMA on the weekly. So now I'm looking at the weekly, because again, I'm scouting entry here, man. There's no two ways about it. Okay. So, it's still holding, it's still above this 12 EMA on the weekly. So, this is like, we're in a spot right now. I mean, I'm calling this a base right here. The true level that I don't want to lose on this name right now is 39. So I'm debating right now how I'm going to approach this. I mean, I could just go with a 41 stop and keep it tight, or I could take maybe a half position. I don't have to worry about earnings right now. Um, so that's kind of what I'm looking at. That's what I am scouting on this play. Okay, so I just know a solid signal is a daily trend change as it regains the 12 EMA. I know I'm probably going to get a pretty good chunk of a trade there. And it's been proven that to me for a couple years now on my back tests. Okay. And I could probably get even deeper on my back tests, but I don't need to. I've seen enough. I've seen enough to know that that's a pretty good signal for me. All right. And the fake out, I even know what to look for with the fake out. Right. So again, for the fake out, what are we looking for? Why did we not get it here is because we never regained the 12 EMA on the weekly chart, okay? That's what I'm looking at right now for LEU. Over and out.